Welcome back, troops. Let's tab 59. It's been a while. It's been about a week since I've posted a video, so apologies for that. There is a reason. So this channel's not just about me waffling all the time. Originally it was to do with raising money for military charities. I've only been going a year. I think the 29th of July was the first anniversary of Let's Tab 59 on YouTube, and we made 10,000 subscribers in that time. It's fantastic. But mainly the channel was set up, as I say, for military charities, and last year we did two challenges. We did the first one we did back in the summer was the Help the Heroes 150-mile weighted walk challenge in July, which we did. And then in November we did one for another weighted walk, a 26.2 mile weighted walk overnight march around Thanet in Kent, raising money for a veterans hub that's co-located with the Royal British Legion in Ramsgate. So we did two last year, and I can't keep doing challenges. I can't keep asking people to donate all the time. So we waited, we thought we'd do another one this year, give it a good gap. And so we've been negotiating quite a lot with our chosen charity, which I'll reveal to you nearer time. Now, the challenge is going to happen in September. We're now at just 1st of August today, 2024. So the challenge will be in fairly early in September. A weighted walk challenge, a tab challenge if you like. And we'll announce that soon. So we've been working with this charity just to make sure we've got everything in place, everything we need to get in place and organised, so that when we make the announcement we'll have all the funding page set up, etc. for the challenge. So that's what I've been doing for a week with the trace around, plus other duties. There's always other duties. Long-haired general, she's had me doing the garden, cutting trees down, hedges, fencing, mowing lawns. Anyway, what I want to talk to you about, well, as many of you know, if you watch the news, there's been quite a bit of rioting going on in the UK the last few days in various cities. We've had it in London, Southport, in Hartlepool, I believe, Southend, up in Downing Street in London. People have had enough, and there's a bit of rioting going on. When I saw the scenes on TV of the rioting, which is always sad, no one likes to see it, but I know people have had enough about things. And that's how they express their frustration. It goes to rioting. And it started to make me think about the riot training and the rioting that myself and many, many other veterans from Operation Banner, the conflict in Northern Ireland, will remember. And so I thought, yeah, let's have a chat about rioting and what that was all about with the British Army. And I have to tell you, I had some great fun. That might sound strange to some people. I mean, yes, people got hurt, don't get me wrong. That's not fun. I'm not belittling that, people that got injured. Nail bombs, petrol bombs, it's really serious stuff. Not like the rioting you're seeing on GB News or whatever it is. That's nothing. Let me tell you, people, that sort of rioting that goes on, that we've just lately in the UK, is nothing. Because the people of Northern Ireland, on both sides, when they were rioting, whether that's against each other and we were in the middle, or they were rioting against us, that's immaterial. Those people knew how to riot, let me tell you. They were seriously organised. So back in Operation Banner days, before you deployed to Northern Ireland, you'd have a build-up of training. You do some in-house training with the unit, and then you'd move on to have some training delivered to you by a training team, initially called NITAT. That stood for Northern Ireland Training and Advisory Team. If you're in Germany, you would have gone to Senelager, to a place called Tin City, and done your pre-Northern Ireland deployment training there. If you're in UK, you'd probably gone to Leeds and Hythe, places like that. Later on, NITAT got renamed and became OPTAG, Operational Training Advisory Group, because OPTAG didn't just do Northern Ireland training, It also done pre-deployment training for Bosnia and things like that. As conflicts changed, so they dropped the title NITAT Northern Ireland to OPTAG. So they were very, very good. My pre-deployment training when I was going to Northern Ireland was done in Senelaga. We had a place out there called Tin City. Now, many of you remember that as well, Tin City. So what was that all about? The reason it was called Tin City was because the early part, when Northern Ireland first kicked off, and they realised they needed to do some public order, riot training for the British soldiers going out there, they built these streets with just facades, just the fronts of buildings, of houses, and they used wrinkly tin, sort of held up with scaffolding. So you'd walk down a street, a tarmac street, and it was just wrinkly tin houses, the front doors, windows, and these wrinkly tin houses painted different colours, yellow, blue, red, all sorts of stuff. That was the old initial part of Tin City, but then later on over the years it quickly developed, and they started to build proper sort of houses, so to speak, brick or block built houses. And there was a little high street, and it had a post office, I think. There was a betting shop. There was a pub there. I can't remember the name of the pub at Senelaga in the Tin City. It's like a Newbrook Arms or something like that. I can't remember. And obviously inside this mock village, if you like, it's mock town, was a security force base, an SF base. I think it was called Fort Knight because you spent 2 weeks there, Fort Knight. And that housed the soldiers under training. And they had everything they needed in there, just like it would in a security force base on duty in Northern Ireland. And I say you had the NITAT team there. I think there was CCTV cameras up dotted around so they could rerun the fun when you'd done your riot training. It wasn't just riot training there, it was patrolling. There was proxy bombs going off, vehicle bombs, IEDs, all the usual stuff. But obviously your riot training was done there as well. So what they did was they would ship in another unit. I don't know, maybe company strength, something like that. And they would be what we called CivPop, the civilian population. And they would just be living in these brick-built houses. They'd be given a name, maybe given a job or no job, whatever. They'd get a little brief as what was expected of them. And they'd get a briefing every day off the NITAT staff. And they'd instigate instances that you reacted to. And of course it comes to the rioting. The rioting built up. The first couple of riots are small skirmishes, and they gradually build you up to a full-blown riot. And when I say full-blown riot, it was pretty close to the real thing, to be honest. They actually used petrol bombs, real petrol bombs. The directing staff threw those, not the CivPop guys, the actual directing staff that were there to DS. They would control the throwing of the petrol bombs. And the houses that the CivPop lived in had open fires in them, I believe they were open fires. And the fuel they used was solid coke blocks, like a little block, a small brick, and it was compressed coal or something. And that's what they used to heat the rooms up with in the houses. And so they were readily available for the CivPop to throw at the soldiers going through Northern Ireland training. So that's what you got Bob thrown at you. Amongst other things, don't get me wrong, wasn't just that. There was spent, you'd call them rubber bullets, they're not plastic bullets. They were the baton rounds. And it's not a pointed thing anymore, it was a flat-ended, solid lump of PVC, sort of plastic, I suppose. And they were dotted around on the streets, and they'd throw those at you as well. Amongst other things, anything they could get their hands on. And that's the sort of rioting that they would do. It's a bit overgrown up here. Let's get in this bit. So you go through that, like I say, the training would build up. If you got picked to be CivPop, you didn't get picked to be CivPop while you were going through Northern Ireland training yourself. You might get picked up to play CivPop for another unit going through at another time. That was great fun. I did it once. I don't know if any of you guys remember doing CivPop. It was absolute riot. You had 2 weeks, absolute riot. Excuse the pun. It was a right laugh. You had 2 weeks just going mental, throwing stuff at another unit. Of course, that's great. It weren't your mates. It was another cap badge, another unit. So it made it even better. So we went through that sort of training, and then you developed your skills and techniques. Now, watching the rioting on the TV recently, obviously the rioters weren't very well organised. Most of them standing around holding a mobile phone up trying to film it, stick it on TikTok or whatever. But the police didn't seem to be that well skilled or trained, if you like, or drilled in their riot or public control. Their public order training didn't seem to be very good. Now, I know that the police, I'm not having to go at the police, I know the police have got specialist units that do it, public order units. And I know also that all the police go through a certain amount of public order training, and I believe it's quite realistic training. But I didn't see any real drills or for control by the police. They just stood there with these asps on their shoulders, shouting at each other. There was no cohesion, it didn't look organised to me. So going back to what we faced in Northern Ireland, we were real Premiership. You know, the rioters that were throwing stuff at us in Northern Ireland, they were Class 1 rioters. And we were Class 1 public order operators as well, let me tell you. So we were well matched. But like I say, seeing the riots in the UK, and I think it was something like 40 police officers in Southport who were injured. And I thought, how? That's a lot of casualties. What is going on? Anyway, that's just my take on it. I believe that the drills we had, all right, okay, admittedly, in the army, we could use CS gas. We could use rubber bullets, baton rounds. So we were a little bit more aggressive, but there again, our opposition was quite aggressive, you know. So, but our drills were great. You know, we'd go down a street, we'd have an armoured pig. We called it a flying pig because the armoured pig would be in the centre of the road, and hinged either side of it was two like wings that folded out, big shields. And then to make the gap up to seal the street off, on the ends of those shields that swung out off the pig, you'd have some big lads with 6-foot shields making up the gap. So you had the whole road sealed off and you'd advance. Obviously you had behind each side, left and right, you'd have a snatch squad. Normally 4 men, normally a lance jack, at least an NCO, commanding the snatch squad. And he'd have someone doing sniper cover, he'd have a rifle, he'd be armed with a rifle. The snatch squad commander would have a half shield and a baton. You'd have 2 lads that would come out with their truncheons and just do the business. And what used to happen was the platoon troop commander would blow a whistle, the shields would open slightly, baton gunners would put their baton guns out, they would pick out their targets. Or I want that bloke, he looks like a ringleader in the red jumper. Blow another whistle, they'd fire a volley of baton rounds, hopefully drop the guys they wanted to. And as soon as those guys went down, as soon as those baton rounds went off, the rioters used to retreat, because it's a volley fire of plastic bullets. So they'd retreat, obviously the ones that got hit would drop. Snatch squads would then run out, left and right snatch squads, they'd have their bloke targeted. The commander would go out and sort of cover the 2 lads that are going to grab the bloke that's on the floor. Obviously the bloke with the rifle was doing a bit of sniper cover, grab their downed rioter. The commander, like I say, would have a half shield, so he'd be trying to fend off any bricks that are being thrown while they're doing the business of arresting this guy, drag him back behind the pig, and he'd get processed and put in an arrest pig and taken away. And that's how we done it. And it was really well drilled. I mean, we'd go through this training, obviously, like I say, in Tin City or wherever. And then when we got out there and the riots kicked off, if they ever did kick off, sometimes they didn't, but if they did kick off, we was good to go. Some of the riots lasted for hours, if not days. And it was good fun. We were fit, we were strong, we were well trained. We were bored. Northern Ireland could be incredibly boring. But so something like a riot happened, wow, let's go, a bit of action. They loved it. So we did enjoy the riots. Like I say, I'm not belittling it if people got injured and hurt, terrible burns, etc. But on the whole, I think most veterans will agree that they didn't mind the old riots too much. It was better than sitting around getting bored. So we had Cromwell helmets, which was like a motorbike helmet with a visor. That was part of our head kit. We didn't have anything like shin pads and arm pads that the police, they look like Robocop now, don't they? You'd have your helmet on, you'd have a belt with a water bottle on it, and you'd have an old wooden baton, an old Northern Ireland Riot baton, hickory baton, wooden thing. You'd have that, depending on your role in the riot, you know, that's what you'd have. You could have a 6-foot shield if he's on the baseline. I'll say if he was a snatch squad commander, you'd probably have a half shield. And you had your baton gunners, etc. Let me tell you, those baton guns, I've never been hit by one, but I've seen people hit by them. And let me tell you, you get one of those, you know you're hit. Obviously, the police can't use those in this country. There'd be absolute outcry. Could you imagine if the police started using... We don't even use CS gas on the streets in the UK. You know, we use pepper spray. The police got pepper spray. But the deployment of CS gas, you see it in France and Germany, other European countries certainly. But you don't see it in the UK. You don't even see water cannons being used in the UK. I don't know if we've got any. I think Boris wanted to buy some, didn't he? But it didn't happen or something. So, I suppose our police force don't have all the bits and pieces they need to contain these full-blown riots. They're not full-blown, are they? Anyway, that's my take on it. Just want to chat to you a bit about rioting and some of the kit and some of the memories. Let me know in the comments if you've got any funny stories from rioting. Oh, quick one for you. I remember, it's not quite rioting. We were patrolling a foot patrol in West Belfast. And some kids started to throw stones at us. Now, in those days, we used to just wear berries. If you weren't on a riot, if you sat on a foot patrol, you had lightweights on, a web belt with a water bottle on it, an ammo pouch maybe, your rifle, and that was it. And we were on a foot patrol, some kids, only youngsters, 12, 13, whatever, throwing stones at us. Wasn't too much of a drama. But my patrol commander, no names, no pack drills, he's a Paddy, actually, an Irish lad. He picked a stone up off the street and threw it through the nearest window on the street, and it smashed this woman's house, her glass window. She come running out the front door, saw us, saw the kids stoning us, and chased the kids off. The kids were more scared of this old woman. I know where you live, she said. She chased them off than they were of us. Anyway, if you've got any funny stories, give us a shout. Thanks for your support, everybody. As I say, it's been a year of the channel now, and I've had some laughs. There's a good community out there. There's some really good people on this channel, and I thank you all for it and appreciate it. From all over, America, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, France, people from all over, thank you so much. So, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider it. I'm not saying do it, I'm saying consider it. So hopefully the next video I'll be able to announce the charity work that we're going to try and do, me and the Trace Around, our challenge. But till the next time, troops, hopefully it won't be long. Stay safe and remember, less tab.